Chayei, Shem Elokei Israel, Mimni Chayei Smolidan Milvanayo Bechol Eireh Al Roshi Shechit Nadken Al Roshi Shechit Nadken. Yiratzon that the limud, the learning, should be learned fu'at. Moriv Rabbi Yehuda Glek, Tanya Bat Hoda Magalit, B'tol Kol Shach Cholei Yisrael. When we enter Parshat Chayei Sarah, the pasuk says, "Vayu Chayei Sarah me'a shana ve'esrim shana ve'sheva shanim shnei Chayei Sarah." The pasuk describes the death of Sarah. And two things stand out in the pasuk. One is that it begins with Vayu Chayei Sarah. When it's describing the death of Sarah, it says it as life of Sarah. And the pasuk also ends Shnei Chayei Sarah. It opens with life and it closes with life. And in the center, it describes the years of Sarah. And the pasuk says, Mea shana, esrim shana, sheva shanim. So instead of saying 127, they say it was 100, and it was 20, and it was 7. So the two questions are, why in the death of Sarah do we describe twice Chayei Sarah? And why when we describe the years do we say Mea shana, esrim shana, v'sheva shanim? So Rashi says, why do we say Mea shana, esrim shana, v'sheva shanim? Lekach nichtav shana b'kol klal v'klal lomar lecha shekol echad nidrash la'atzmo bat kuf kivat kaf lechet bat kaf lo chat'a sharei ina bat onshin af bat kuf belochet ubat kaf kivat sheva leyofi. Rashi explains, why does it say 120 and 7? Because when she was 100, she didn't sin as if she was 20. And when she was 20, she was as beautiful as if she was 7. But we take a step back and we say, why is that what the last thing that we want to know about Sarah? Why is that so unique? Why is that so special? The fact that when she was 100, she was like 20, and when she was 20, she was like 7. And then Rashi adds two words. Kulan shavin. It didn't matter for Sarah if she was 100. She could act like a 20-year-old. It didn't matter if externally she was 20. She was as beautiful as a 7-year-old. So as if time did not influence Sarah. Time passed. Time causes things to people. But Sarah was able to always be in control of her time, that nothing defined her, and she was able to overcome the challenge of what time does to us. And so the Sfat Emet, in the year 1986, he explains, what does Rashi really mean when he says Kulan Shavin Letova? Hu ma'ala gdola. This really is the highest trait of Sarah Imenu. Liyot Adam omed betmimuto bekol ma she'over alav. For Sarah, it didn't matter what was happening. The time did not influence her. The external world had no influence on her life. Yesh nisayon la'ani v'yesh la'ashir. Challenge is not a question. It's a reality. We will all have challenge. The rich have a challenge. The poor have a challenge. The healthy have a challenge. The sick have a challenge. V'sara b'tchilat yameha avru alea kama zmanim kashim. What do we know from Sarah's life? Ra'avon. First thing, Vayi ra'av ba'aretz. L'kichata leparo. La'avimelech. And then she has a child. And the child's taken to the Akedah. And Sarah's entire life are challenge after challenge after challenge. And you would think that those challenges would control Sarah. But what it means when it says Mea Shana, Esrim Shana, Sheva Shanim, is that she controlled time. Time did not control her. She defined her perspective of challenge, and challenge did not belittle her. When it says the death of Sarah, and it repeats Chayei Sarah at the beginning and the end, it's saying that the essence of life is the decision that we control our experiences and we're not enslaved to what's happening outside of us. And if we continue this idea, the Shulchan Aruch, when it opens up and brings the first halacha in the Shulchan Aruch, Yitgaber ke'ari la'amod baboker la'avodat boro. The first halacha is you have to rise like a lion. Sheyeheh hu me'orer hashachar. The Shulchan Aruch opens up and says, the first decision you make in the day is, does the sun rise? And because the world and outside is changing, I'm enslaved to that change. Or do I raise the sun? Sheyeheh hu me'orer hashachar. You raise the sun. You control reality. You control time. You control your perspective. In this week, we celebrated Rav Shlomo's Karbach Yortzeit. And he would always, after every concert, he would save $1. And he had one dream, to build a home in Yerushalayim. And years pass. And after 35 years, Rav Shlomo has the money to buy not a house, but his dream for 35 years. And they sit there, and suddenly there's a knock on the door. And a poor man looks at Rav Shlomo and says, there's a wedding tomorrow night for my daughter. I don't have so much money. And Rav Shlomo takes 35 years of a dream, and he hands it to this poor man. And when I heard the story, I asked myself, how can Rav Shlomo let go of the dream? Because he realized, how can someone control time? To control time means to recognize it's not about what you do, but to know why you do what you do. His dream was to build a home. But why do you want a home? And if you know why, then you're always in control. But if you only know what you're doing and not why you're doing it, then time controls you. The essence of Sarah's life was not that things were easy, is that she realized that whenever there's an outside challenge, an external experience, and you realize why you're doing what you're doing, she was able to overcome every challenge. In the last week, in the land of Israel, we've all seen the challenge. And we know that what helps us go above is Chayei Sarah. If we know why we're here, and we know why we do what we do, then time doesn't control us. We control time. Shabbat Shalom.